या सगळ्या
काउंट
सेटिंगची
सुरू करा.
तुमची सगळी आर्टिकल्स त्या काळात चालू व्हायला लागतील.
Jai Hind, this is Brigadier Hemant Mahajan. I welcome you again on the security roundup for the week ending this Saturday. This is our 12th security roundup, and our earlier roundups has had a very good clientele. I'm sure even this will get adequate number of views. First of all, let us focus on certain important activities that took place in the last 1 week which affect India's national security. Let's come down to internal security. There has been an accident when field firing was going on in Indian Army's Armored Corps unit, a Bhishma tank. The barrel exploded, injuring, rather killing two of its crew, one JCO and one NCO, and one was seriously injured. Then there was another accident of a helicopter. A cheetah helicopter crashed in Tawang in Arunachal Pradesh, in which we lost Lieutenant Colonel Saurabh Yadav. In addition to this, the government of India has declared Imtiaz Ahmad Kandu under the UAPA Act, who was responsible for radicalizing the youth in Kashmir Valley. He's been a resident of Sopore, and presently it is appreciated that he is in Pakistan. Uh, Shri Rajnath Singh, India's defense minister, approved naming of Faizabad cantonment as Ayodhya cantonment. One would be aware that the Indian Army cantonment there in the town of Faizabad was called as Faizabad. Now it's called as Ayodhya cantonment. In addition to this, there has been a bit of violence in Jammu and Kashmir. Three Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorists who were killed in the area of Shopia. They belong to Lashkar-e-Toiba. Also, Home Minister Shri Amit Shah visited the Kashmir Valley, Kashmir rather, from 4th to 6th of October. First, he addressed a rally in Rajouri. Secondly, which is Rajouri, I'm sure everybody knows which Rajouri are the areas south of Pir Panjal. And then he addressed a rally in Baramulla, which is in the Kashmir Valley. And he inaugurated projects worth about 2,000 crores in Srinagar. And he mentioned there that Jammu and Kashmir, which was earlier a hotbed for terrorists, now has become a tourist hotspot. So, why did he say this? Because record number of tourists have visited Jammu and Kashmir in the tourist season. This is the highest number ever. In addition to this, it was mentioned that Kashmir earlier was ruled by three families, one in the center, that is in inside in India, and two families there consisting of the Muftis and the Abdullahs. Now it is ruled by 30,000 representatives of people. The Gujars, the Bakarwals, the Paharis, which are habitating the area of Punch, Rajouri, and the mountainous areas, are going to get a status of scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, and therefore they will get all the benefits which accrue to these people. This was applicable in rest of India, but somehow not applicable in Jammu and Kashmir. Next issue pertains to the illegal migration that takes place from Bangladesh. The central government has given out the figures on Tuesday, stating that 2,399 Bangladeshi nationals have been caught in last few years, and they all had fraudulently obtained Indian documents, meaning they had passport, they had ration card, they had Aadhaar card, they had you name it Indian document, and it was with them. Actually, the basic problem in our country is that not many are bothered about this illegal, unabated migration that takes place from Bangladesh. All the opposition parties, including Aam Aadmi Party to Congress, TRS to TMC, Samajwadi Party to BSP, have always time and again lobbied for illegal migrants from Myanmar, from Bangladesh to be allowed and government area, and they should be provided with facilities at taxpayers' expense. Only one party has been consistent about throwing out these people, Rohingyas and Bangladeshis. and that is basically the Bharatiya Janata Party. Now, Indo-Bangladesh border, there are three very big problems. Number one problem is, of course, illegal migration of Bangladeshis. Second huge problem is cattle smuggling. In fact, as late as today, the cases are going on in the state of West Bengal with a minister who's involved there, who was very big, who was involved in a big way with cattle smuggling. And of course, there's the export of global jihad. There's a terrorist group there called JMB. JMB stands for Jamaat-e Islami Bangladeshi. They have been cracked upon in Bangladesh. Now they have established their bases in in our state of West Bengal. So this is basically a big problem. Smuggling is a massive economic activity which fills up the political coffers. Some BSF officers have been caught, and as it stands now, the BSF has court-martialed 33% for their involvement in cattle smuggling, and investigations are going on against 14 more. The next issue pertains to the light combat helicopter, which is basically the helicopter is called Prachanda. Indian Air Force inducted the first batch of indigenously developed light combat aircraft, light combat helicopter into the IAF. The induction is a very big victory for Make in India in the defense sector. The India's defense industry is becoming less import dependent and it's making its presence felt in the international arena. The government has recently said that the defense exports have grown up by 334% in last 5 years. I repeat, 334% in last 5 years. And now India is exporting to 75 countries. But now the next journey that we must undertake should be from Make in India to to make for world. This can be done if we allot adequate allocation to research and development. We must carry out timely production of equipment which is required, and of course the equipment must be should be affordable. That means it should be cost effective. The next issue pertains to Dr. Jaishankar, who made a remark in one of those meetings at United Nations General Assembly that he said that India exports information technology while our neighbor exports terrorism. And obviously, that was not appreciated by the Pakistan. Next issue pertains to countering the Chinese and the Pakistani hybrid war. So all of us are aware that the Hindus and Sikhs are completely extinct now from Afghanistan. They were incidentally 2% of the population of Afghanistan at a point of time about 15 years back. But now most of them have been killed or some of them have migrated to India or very few have migrated to rest of the countries. Now the other minority there is the Hazaras. Hazaras are basically Shia Muslim and they are supported to some extent by Iran, which is a Shia country. Last week there was a suicide bombing attack on an educational center in Kabul's Hazara populated area, which killed 46 young girls. One feels so sad that 46 young girls have been killed, and this brings focus back on persecution of Hazaras in Afghanistan. And mind you, Hazaras comprise of nearly 10% of the Afghanistan population, and it is one of the largest ethnic minorities, but they are persecuted, just like the Hindus and the Sikhs. And Taliban's return has increased their persecution. So it is now felt that possibly after the Hindus and Sikh extinction from Afghanistan, now the Hazaras will also meet their end there in Afghanistan. The next issue is Pakistan's Afghanistan policy and the relationship between Afghanistan and Pakistan. When Taliban came to power in Afghanistan, Pakistan thought that it's a friendly government which is there, it will have a strategic depth, etc. But Pakistan's long-standing objective of having a dependent government in Kabul has not helped. Instead of giving any strategic advantage to Pakistan's security, it has a very serious problem from Afghanistan. Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan, this is a group which has got its basis in Afghanistan. that is got a free regime there, and they are carrying out lot of terror attacks inside Pakistan. And one would remember that when Afghanistan Taliban came into power, there were nearly 2,500 of the TTP members who were in the who were in the jails of Afghanistan. They were released. Afghanistan Taliban strategy of supporting Pakistan for talks with TTP as against opposed to fighting them militarily has multiple angles. Meaning, Afghanistan Taliban said, we will help you to have talks with TTP. Pakistan wanted them to carry out anti-terrorist operations, close these camps, and help Pakistan, but that did not happen. In fact, on the other hand, the talks between the TTP and Pakistan government has failed, thereby increasing the level of violence in Pakistan. And the most important issue thereafter is the international boundary of nearly 2,640 kilometers of the border which exists between Afghanistan and Pakistan, which is called as the Durand Line, is not acceptable to Afghanistan. Meaning, Durand Line is supposed to be a boundary as per Pakistan, but it is not acceptable to Pakistan. To correction to Taliban or Afghanistan. Afghanistan says the whole of Pashtun occupied area of Northwest Frontier province belongs to them, and that should become their own part. So Pakistan's long-standing policy with respect to Afghanistan has failed to achieve its objective to counterbalance threats from India. The policy has emboldened Afghanistan Taliban to use Pakistan for their own agenda, increase their stranglehold or TTP, and very recently, Mullah Yaqub, who was Taliban's defense minister, has desired that Pakistan enemy or Pakistan's arch rival India should train the Afghanistan troops. If this happens, it will be a very big setback as far as Pakistan is concerned. Now, next issue is the relationship between China and Pakistan. Mind you, China is supposed to be Pakistan's big friend, but on ground there seems to be very serious problems. One would remember that number of attacks on the Chinese citizens in Pakistan is only increasing, and what China is doing now is for every Chinese engineer who's killed, like one was killed in a hydroelectric power plant, it made Pakistan pay $11.6 million. Dollars. I repeat, $11.6 million. Dollars. And Pakistan will also be compelled to pay compensation for anybody and every Chinese who's killed in Pakistan. China has also demanded that China should be permitted to employ its own security agencies to safeguard its nationals in Pakistan, which Pakistan does not want, because while it will be a win-win situation for China, it will be opposite for Pakistan. So till the time this issue is resolved, Chinese projects have slowed down. The Chinese power companies, which were established as a part of China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, are threatening to stop their power plant simply because Pakistan has not paid the dues worth 300 billions. Because the power generated from there is very, very costly, and Pakistan, with its economy sinking, is not in a position to clear the dues. In addition, the Chinese are complaining that the coal which they are importing is very, very costly. They were importing coal from Afghanistan at the rate of 90 US dollars per ton. Taliban saw the opportunity. Now they have increased the cost to 200, 200 US dollars per ton. So this is made the power generated by the power plants very, very costly. The International Monetary Fund, which is going to be the only savior as far as Pakistan's economy is concerned, has said that it will not allow its funds to be used to give payment to Chinese power companies. In fact, it wants Pakistan government to renegotiate terms with Chinese power companies and make them transparent and make them something equal to the compensation which is paid to the other power providers in Pakistan. Now, this is angered China completely because it was selling very costly power to Pakistan, and now IMF wants it to be stopped. There are also reports that the Pakistani armed forces are not happy with the Chinese equipment supplied to them, be it Chinese tanks, be it Chinese artillery, be it Chinese air defense equipment. Everybody is facing a problem, and the problems are both in terms of quality, also requirement of space that are required to maintain them. So basically, China's is really extracting its pound of flesh from Pakistan, and in fact, there are reports now if Pakistan cannot repay what is required to be repaid in terms of loan, capital, and interest, then certain areas of Gilgit and Baltistan will also become a permanent part of China. The next issue is very important from the point of view of Northeast India. There are reports that the rivers which flow from India into Bangladesh, two of them, the Ganges and the Brahmaputra, are being opened up as inland water transport roadways. Bangladesh initially had given only one port of call. Now Bangladesh is saying that trade can take place through these rivers at six different ports by using the waterways. Now these waterways and these ports will actually be very useful to Bhutan. And this is a good news to Assam and northeastern states simply because it will increase the economic opportunities, it will increase the use of waterways, it will give some license fees to Assam. And not only that, in addition to Bhutan, Nepal is also keen to utilize these waterways. So the use of waterways will become more useful because not only the waterways will be used by India for supplying its northeastern states, but it will also be used by Bhutan and Nepal for carrying out their trade. So this will make them cost effective. Today, Bhutan exports boulders, cardamom, oranges, pebbles, gravels, limestone, ferroalloys, gypsum, semi-finished products like iron, etc. to Bangladesh. So increasing export and import between these countries will definitely improve Assam's economy also. The next point are with respect to the Russia and Ukraine war. There have been reports that the Ukrainian forces have burst through the Russian lines and have made major advances as far as the war is concerned. Russian forces in that area have been forced to retreat, and it appears that Russian army has lost the ability to attack. Another report said that Shri Putin has declared that whatever area they have annexed up till now, which is approximately 15 to 20% of area of Ukraine, this will become permanent Russian areas, and they are carrying out referendum there by which they will declare that these places have joined Russia. Ukraine war was dragging on nearly 9 months. So Russia wanted to draft 2 lakh more troops into the army, but that is not helping because the moment Russians came to know that people between the age of 18 to 35 or 37 will be enrolled into the army, many Russians have started leaving for those 11, 12 Russia's other countries which seceded from USSR when USSR broke down. So therefore, the number of recruits available for induction into the Russian armed forces are very, very less. So this seems to be creating a problem, and this is making Putin more and more desperate. Few other things I will cover in very, very briefly. Mizoram has given asylum to the Myanmar refugees. This they're doing with the help of the state government, the local NGOs, local church, and few other organizations. And but this they won't be able to do it for long because it costs a lot of money. The police in California have said that the Sikh family which was abducted in California has been killed, along with a very tragic a baby girl which was barely 8 months old. So this is basically showing that the Indians are not safe in USA. There have been racial discriminatory attacks in Canada to so much extent that Canadian government now has issued an advisory to the Indian students and the Indians there as to how to keep remain safe. There have also been attacks on the Indians in England. So therefore, the Indians' American dream seems to be turning sour. There are problems in United Kingdom. There are problems in Canada, which is becoming unsafe for Indians settled there, and also problems in the United States. There is a positive news that the Border Security Force is going to deploy laser-equipped anti-drone technology. This will be deployed on the international border, because one would remember that there have been something like 100 drones that have crossed into Punjab in last 1 year, out of which only 7 could be shot down. Possibly with this laser technology, we'll be able to shoot down more drones, because each drone is capable of, let's say, getting 10 to 11 kilograms of narcotics inside. The Air Force has announced that 10% of Agniveers will be females or ladies. The Indian Air Force has also said that they are going to equip Sukhoi 30 MKI fighters with the BrahMos cruise missiles. This will ensure that the range increases quite a lot, because Sukhoi, as it is, can go up to 1600 kilometers without refueling. That is their fighting radius, and with refueling, it increases to almost double the range. And with a missile capable of 450 kilometers, this will give them a tremendous range as far as hitting important targets are concerned. Now, the last point is there has been some controversy over India remaining absent at the United Nations Human Rights Commission, which was discussing the persecution or the prosecution of Uyghur Muslim minorities in China. India decided to not vote in this, and this is supposed to be. Many people feel, including myself, that this shouldn't have been done. We should have got China onto the mat, but possibly the foreign ministry felt that by letting China escape from this UNHRC debate on Uyghur Muslims, it will start behaving properly with India, and possibly the relations will improve. Well, only time can tell us whether the relations will improve or not. But I have said in the past that Chinese understand only language of force. So therefore, if I had an option, I would have said that we should have voted against the Chinese in the United Nations Human Rights Commission. Now, to end this debate, what we must, to end this talk today, we must understand that the challenges to India's national security are multifarious, multi-domain, and it's only a united India, which consists of its security forces, which consists of its people, which consists of its leadership, can take on the challenges head on. Then only will we be able to secure our country. I'll stop here, and thank you all of you for having a look at this Facebook live. Thank you very much, and Jai Hind.